If you are someone who lifts your left heel when you swing back, there are a couple of potential pitfalls, though, that you may or may not be aware of, or that you may or may not know you're doing. And that's what I want to talk about today. Hey, golfers, Tony McMullen, founder of Smart Golf Academy. Today, I want to talk to the golfer who makes their takeaway lifting their left or their lead heel off of the ground to help make their takeaway for them. Okay? One of the most graceful moves in golf, I think. Makes for a beautiful golf swing. Over the years, I have had clients and I have played with competitive players who have done that move, and I've asked some of them, and I've gotten some great answers, but I've asked them about that move. But the majority of the people I talked to who were good players and made that work very well told me two things, and I think it's very accurate. Number one, it helps them to get the club where they want it to go, whether they have a limited range of motion, or maybe they just like the way that move made them feel to get the club to the top of the swing and put it in a consistent position. That was certainly a key for them to do that. And the second answer that I got was it was a timing pattern. It helped them to get back to their left side by knowing when to push that left heel down to get them back in a really good, solid, consistent impact position. Both of those answers and both of those worked very well for the players that I talked to. If you are someone who lifts your left heel when you swing back, there are a couple of potential pitfalls, though, that you may or may not be aware of, or that you may or may not know you're doing. And that's what I want to talk about today. Those two pitfalls. Number one, when your left heel leaves the ground, okay, it presents an opportunity for your trail hip, your right hip, to sway. You're losing an anchor point. When your left heel leaves the ground, that's one of your connections to the ground. Toe, heel, toe, heel. You got four of them, right? When you get it cut down to three, that gives your hips the opportunity to kind of fool you with their movement, because you're going to think when you do this, unless you have a camera on you and you can see that you're doing it, it's going to feel like you're doing this, okay? The movements are somewhat alike. I'm sure all of us have hit a ball every now and again, and maybe our playing partners, trying to be helpful, said, well, your hips swayed there. Well, if I just knocked the ball out of bounds, I don't want to hear why I did that. I got to be honest with you, but I need to hear it, but I don't want to, right? But we don't want that hip to move this direction. We want that right hip to turn, right? So be careful. If you lift your left heel off the ground, make sure that your right hip is being turned back behind you, because then you're going to be in a much better position to get to your left side. Well, why is that? Well, if this right hip turns behind me, this hip's going to turn internally, right? That means that leg's going to load the way it should load. So then when I get over to my left side here and I go to hit the ball, it's going to be able to unwind and turn through the ball. If I move laterally and I sway, this really doesn't load. Puts extra undue pressure on my back and my hip there, and can result in some hip injuries and lower back injuries, least case, some back pain, okay? So the slide, want to make sure you're not sliding and make sure you're turning, okay? And number two, you want to make sure that you don't go the opposite direction with this and turn that hip back, but instead of shifting your weight to your right side, end up staying on your left side. You probably won't know you're doing this. You're going to feel like you're making a pretty good turn. Your back is going to go into this position here, a reversed position. Now you're stuck. There's only a couple of ways to get out of this. One would be you'd have to cast the club away from you to hit the ball. That's not going to work very well. The other one, of course, would be to go straight from here in a very steep position, straight down at the golf ball. It'd probably look like this right here. Okay, and you're stuck on your right side, so you end up with a reverse pivot, or best case scenario, a reversed spine angle. Either way, you're not going to strike the ball very consistently. So those two things you want to be aware of. The best way to tell if you have that issue, of course, is get in front of a mirror or have somebody video your swing and see what you have going on. If you're going to use that left heel correctly, when you turn back, you'll feel weight cycle through your right foot as your right hip turns back. And then you're going to make sure you get that left heel back down on the ground before impact. And it can serve as a very, very good way for you to shift your weight moving towards the target. And it can also serve as a great timing pattern too, to make sure that your low point is well managed and you're hitting the ball as consistently as you should. Take a look at that in front of a mirror. Have someone video you. Take a look. Make sure that if you're someone who makes your takeaway with your left heel coming off the ground, that you're doing it correctly, and it's going to help you to hit the ball more consistently. You're going to love the results.